the LA County fires and the inmate firefighters that are helping to fight the fires. Let's get into it.
Welcome back to Broken Bobby's transformation page. In the late 80s, I became involved with drugs and would eventually become part of that lifestyle of trafficking, addiction, and violence. Over the next 20 years, I would be in and out of jail and prison. If you're thinking about trying something or you're dealing with addiction, your life don't need to go down the same path mine did. I hurt a lot of people, both physically and emotionally. These are my stories of how I transformed my life, and you can too.
All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. As you can see by the title and the thumbnail, we're going to be talking about CDCR inmate firefighters today. This is definitely an interesting topic, and a topic that there is some discussion. I've seen some people talking about it as if these guys are like slaves, or like there's like a bad spin on that, and I want to clear up some of that. Now, before we get into it, if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe, hit that like button, and drop a comment. Tell me what you think of inmate firefighters. Also, hit that notification bell so that anytime I drop a new video or I go live, you will be notified. And share the video. It really helps to grow the channel. So, as most of you know, LA's been burning for the last few days, and this is really tragic. It hit some really exclusive areas of like Pacific Palisades and Malibu. And then there's another fire that's burning like in the Pasadena, Altadena area. And tons of people have lost their homes, and my heart and my prayers go out to those folks. Uh, I hope that, everything ends up being okay. I mean, it's tragic when these fires are tragic. I've never lost a home to fire, but my wife and I lost a storage unit in San Bernardino when there was a fire that ran up along the 215 there, and we lost a lot of our worldly possessions, pictures, like TVs and stuff like that, furniture, not so much worried about, but like a lot of the family pictures that couldn't be replaced were lost. And unfortunately, I was in my addiction at that time, and I remember seeing her so upset. And because I was a drug addict, I really didn't feel at that time. But now looking back, like, it's really tragic to have lost that stuff. And so, I mean, that's as close to being able to relate as I can get. There was also a fire at the house that we live in now, but it wasn't the house. There was a mobile home parked out in the yard, and there was an electrical issue, and it went up, and we almost lost the house. And like, I can tell you, that was one of the most scariest things. I was at work, and my wife called me, and just the terror in her voice, like, I was so scared driving home, and I'm like an hour away. So, you know, um, it's definitely a terrifying experience. And like I said, my thoughts and my prayers go out to the folks that have lost their homes, and may the people that perished in these fires rest in peace. But on this one, we're going to talk about the fire crews that are through to the Department of Corrections. And hopefully I can dispel some myths that are in the media that make it out like these guys are working for slave labor wages. And yeah, it's not real world money as far as that goes. But I'll tell you, when I went to prison, like, you had to have a certain amount of time in order to qualify to even go to fire camp. And there were a lot of guys in my dorm that had that sort of time, that were, they were training because you have to be able to pass the physical fitness test in order to, get sent to one of these fire camps. And I had a cousin who actually did the fire camp thing, and like he raved about it. It was the greatest thing as far as prison goes, in his mind. And you know, so like in my opinion, it sounds like it would have been a good experience. Now, let me give you some details on how these things work. So, you go to reception. If you're interested in doing the fire camp thing, you can talk to your counselor about. They at that time they would send you to Jamestown, which was in Susanville, I believe, uh, kind of across the street from High Desert State Prison. There, from what I understand, I never went there, but you would go there. You would do the physical fitness training, and eventually you would test. And if you were able to pass the physical fitness test, which was not easy, then you would be assigned to one of, like, I believe there's dozens, if not hundreds, of these fire camps all across the state of California. And the thing about going to these camps, most of these guys had in the 5 to 10 year range, as far as their sentence goes. And instead of going to a level 3 or a level 4 yard, they would go to these fire camps. Now, with the fire camps, there's no politics in these fire camps, because the thing is, if you're out there working fires, like, you can't be like, oh, that guy's black, I can't help him, or that guy's Mexican, I can't help him, or that guy's white. Like, everybody's got to have everybody's back. And from the way I understand it, at least at that time, it was okay for all the races to go to these fire camps. Now, I don't know what it's like these days as far as that goes. I don't know if the camps are considered no good, or what the deal is with that. I'm not here to talk about that, because I don't know. I haven't been in there in 18 years, and I'm sure things have probably changed a lot since then. But it was considered a good place to go. And when most jobs in the California Department of Corrections, if you're lucky enough to get a pay number, pay somewhere in the like 9 to 25 cents an hour range, which don't seem like a lot, right? But in the world of prison, it's all right. It'll get you some soups, it'll get you some coffee, and the stuff you need when commissary rolls around, when you can get store. Now, working if you're lucky enough to land in one of these fire camps, which, like I said, at the time, they were very sought after and everybody wanted to do it, that was halfway physically fit, let's just say, because there were requirements for that. Like, they weren't just going to let anybody go there. Like, you had to be in good physical health, and you had to be able to pass this physical fitness test. Well, what I was told with that was, uh, like, when they go to fight these fires, they're not necessarily frontline. They're like they're digging fire lines, to try to stop the spread. So they would, get like their hose or whatever and clear brush in order to try to stop the spread. And while they were actively on a fire site, they were making $1 an hour. Now, I don't know what that is now. That's what it was then, though. So if you go out and work a fire for a month, basically you're getting $1 an hour for 24 hours a day, because you're on the front line, and not necessarily working 24 hours a day, but you're getting paid the whole time you're there. So a lot of these guys that go and work these fire camps would actually, when they would parole, they would have money to start life over again, I guess. Not necessarily like, it's not like they're coming out with 50, 60 grand or anything, but you could parole with 2, 3, 4, 5 grand saved up if you were actively working these fires. And you know uh I remember my cousin, the one that went to this fire camp, he would show me the certificate. He was so proud of it that even though he was a convicted felon, he was now a certified firefighter, and he could go work for like the national um like wildlife or whatever, like as a firefighter in California. Like he was certified for that. And even though he was a convicted felon, so like he could have went into a good job from that, which at that time was pretty rare, that you get out with a skill that you could actually utilize in your felony background wouldn't hinder you from doing that. So, and also he would tell me, they'd be out there working those fires, and like they'd be eating like kings, like steaks and hamburgers and all that stuff. And like the people, uh, of the communities would like come by and give them stuff like food and things like that. So, he told me he never ate so good being in prison. And if, he ever went back, he definitely would want to pursue doing the uh, CDCR fire camp thing again. So, I guess what I'm trying to do here is dispel some of the news articles that you may see that tell you that make it seem like it's such a horrible spot to be in. As far as I know, at that time that was a volunteer position. I'm pretty sure that's the same today. They can't force you to go and fight fires. Basically, this is a volunteer service, and the majority of those guys that are there definitely want to be there because it's a good gig. If you're in the California Department of Corrections and you just want to do your time and go home. So that's my take on the CDCR firefighters. Shout out to all of you guys that are out there, uh, protecting our communities, and shout out to all the first responders and everyone else that's doing the best they can to bring these fires under control. Um, so that's my take on that. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel. If you're new, hit that like button, drop a comment, and tell me what you think. Have you ever been to fire camp? What's your take on it? That's my story based on what I've been told. And like I said, I never went to fire camp, but that was the lick back in the day. That's what everybody wanted. So hope everybody had a great week. We'll be going live tomorrow night, hopefully around 9 p.m. California time. So be on the lookout for that as well. And don't look at the mountain, just start climbing.